Oh, violence, just call me, I've answered before. I'd made many enemies and settled my scores. But came a cry from a man that I'd known, someone to whom rare compassion I'd shown. And so I opened up my door to the man who promised me blood and war. For I craved violence, I craved to be free from the people who wish to control me. Yes, I believe in anarchy's reign, and I know that dictators only bring pain. Oh, woe to thee, people of order. I hope your homes continue to smolder, and that you'll never rise again and leave me be and leave my friends.
On our last session, we entered the tower, found that there was a ridiculously long hallway with disgusting brazen statues all around and horrifying drawings on the ceiling of scenes of obscenities and sunlight and flowers. It was horrifying, absolutely disgusting. There were 3 doors that we could see, one to the left nearby, one further down on the right, and one on the back wall. Investigating the one on the left, Haven decided to stick their head into some kind of portal, nearly froze their face off, got blinded for a little while, and everyone else got some goodies in the forms of swords, book in an unknown language, and some jewellery. There was a statue which trapped everyone that went into it, except that Reese managed to figure out the riddle code, and everyone was released one after the other as we all gave the right answer. After that, we went to the door further down on the right, where we ended up in some form of astral sea type place where there was stars above and beyond and all around, with series of doors. We jumped from island to island to island, sending off lovely rainbow arcs every time to tell people if it was right or not. And then right at the end there was a monstrous beast that somehow transformed size between one person seeing it and everyone else seeing it. It was very confusing. Angelique was badly injured with a swipe at her leg, and Haven was also quite significantly damaged, but that was from the portal and being a bit of an idiot, honestly. Everyone else seems absolutely fine. We finished the area and returned to the main entrance hall where we ended the session.
As you exit the shell door, you all walk through, and as you glance around, Ash is missing, and Zaz is in her place. Riku is still there, and Riku just looks around, sighs heavily, says, "Wonderful, I'm still here."
You shouldn't be here.
Zaz, what happened?
Some switch up, I guess. I was taken by some being, but it got pissed off that I was there. And you see Azaz is like clutching his left torso. Just a clear bloodstained wound through his shirt. It wasn't pretty. What did y'all...
Daz, what happened? Where did you go? And if you're here, where the hell is Ash?
Something about... There's this crazy, like, beast king on a throne. And I was standing in front of him. And they were like, "You'll do," and sent me off to fight some of those crazy, perfect face people.
The black-blooded one is not crazy, Riku says. You see this monk humanoid standing in the back.
You kind of look like him. Not really, but it looked kind of like that. I kind of point over toward what I guess is Riku, I'm sorry?
I will turn around and walk very swiftly towards Riku and grab him by whatever form of lapels he has.
He has a chainmail shirt.
I will grab the fuck out of that.
He does not look phased.
Where the fuck is Ash?
Beast Lord required her, evidently, and is not in requirement of me. He returned your friend and took Ash to do whatever he deemed was necessary. She will be returned, and I will leave.
I'm gonna growl and throw him away from me.
Okay, make a strength check.
17.
He got also 17. So he steps back an inch, but stands his ground.
Fine. I'll turn away. Is anyone else injured? How badly are you hurt, Taz?
I think I'll live, but I'm not feeling too great right now, and the blood is somewhat fresh. I'm actually going to look over at Angelique and just give a quick overlook, because...
She's bleeding heavily from her lower leg.
Well, that's not good.
No, I tried. You see bandages partially wrapped around it. It's not stopping very well.
We need to go back to town, or at least go out, tell everyone what we figured out so far, and then come back. We need to heal first.
I can kind of take care of us if you want to press on. But if you think that exiting's the better play, then we can do that too.
As you look at Haven, you see that there's lesions all over their face and that there's dried blood everywhere.
Ooh, that's not looking good either.
Definitely seen better days.
Not doing the best.
She kind of led with her face.
He stuck her face through a portal like an idiot.
I will punch Riku.
Go ahead.
Not hard, just fuck off. Smack him.
He takes it.
Do we know the way out then?
45 feet that way.
As soon as we walked through the door, all I saw was blackness. That way. Okay.
Reese is really fucking pissed, and he is going to cast Cape of Courage, and everyone who's hurt heals for 1d4.
Do we roll the d4, or do you? Or...
You guys can roll it for yourselves.
Thanks, because I got a 4.
Anjali's looking much better.
Good.
Thank you, Reese.
I didn't know you could do that.
And yeah, you see the same similar kind of clasps and the rainbow cape come down. And Reese just looks to Riku, and I guess just the rest of the party. I'm just fucking tired of gods acting like they can, I guess, just treat people and places like nothing. And it's fucking pissing me off. Are you guys feeling better? Are you guys alright?
Feeling better, but so is this not a common occurrence then? Pointing at Taz.
I mean, I've never been plucked out of existence into another realm before, so yeah, a little bit out of the ordinary.
The gods have their reasons, I'm sure.
And the gods here are caparious. They do love to show up and just do their thing whenever.
The years that I've praised and worshipped, I've never had anything like this happen. Maybe I'm praying to the wrong god.
Maybe.
That's the fun part, right? If gods were so big and powerful, how come it's us that they're relying on, huh? How come it's us they have to use and put in harm's way, or they can't take care of something like, and Reese kind of motions around to the whole tower, like something like this, instead of having to send people like us in.
Absolutely. Still, my goddess is not the kind that would usually interfere in here. She is far more of a lover than a fighter. And believe me when I say that she definitely shows up when the time is right.
That's Reese kind of calms down a little hearing that. Like, that's at least nice to hear.
Yes, quite. I do think we should head out and tell the general what we found, just because of how deadly this place is and the fact that we could die and they know nothing.
Agree with that logic more.
As Haven's talking, you can see that while the blood hasn't gone anywhere, all the lesions have cleared up across their face. And they just say, yeah, we could die in the very next room and they'd still have nothing, and then someone else would have to come in. At least if we pop out, speak to the general, we can at the very least advise them of that.
And even if we don't go back to town, maybe we can just rest out there where they can keep watch for us.
So everybody except for Anjali, you can roll a general intelligence check. Or for Haven.
Haven is very distracted by the fact that her closest kin has been taken and is just pacing back and forth and not paying it much attention.
That's a 10.
So 18.
With the 18, you would know that from prior experiences, when you sleep outside, you are never rested enough. Going back to town, you would need to rest far fewer days to actually recover completely than if you stayed outside and just rested outside of the tower.
The only proper rest we'd probably get is going back to town and getting beds of some sort. We could definitely tell the general as I look over toward Haven, and I think that's a good idea. If we get separated again, I don't know if I'm coming back.
Yeah.
But I don't think us resting outside the tower is going to do us any real favors without waiting a few days.
Yeah, they didn't look very rested, I guess. Rakatir, why did they take Ash this time?
I do not question.
Haven pauses and is intently listening.
I know you don't want to, but what if you hazard a guess for us?
The Beast Lord wanted her for a quest that he needed done. She was the best one to do the job. Therefore, he called upon her and returned this one.
Has she done that before?
Yes.
Haven freezes and is just staring at Riku because they didn't know this.
It is my assumption. I don't know. I've actually never physically met Ash until today, so there would have been a deal made in order for it to happen. The gods can't just pluck you out of existence. Well, they could, but the Beast Lord will do what he pleases. However, he tends to give an eye for an eye. So if he steals one, you receive one.
You said before that Taz was taken by accident. Was Ash the previous target?
Yes.
I'm going to storm towards the entrance and flick my wings at Riku as I go.
Slide my hands in my pockets and follow behind.
He will politely follow.
I'm curious just based on the other observations that we've made and the way that maybe things might move around, I just want to cast Rainbow Blast at the floor of the tower.
Okay, directly in the front?
Yeah.
Okay, do a damage roll.
Well, I'll roll my 1d4, see what color flies forth. That is a 2, so blue is acid damage, and then 1d8, 3 acid damage.
All right, the tile that you hit with it bubbles and sizzles, and the white is slightly indented where the acid hit.
All right, I'm going to take a mental note of that and even mark it on my little map if I can, and just keep on give the tower one kind of last middle finger, and then follow the party out.
Roll an insight.
Sure. I need to grab a new d20. That is 12.
You feel something, but you're not really sure what. It's probably just the tower making you feel weirded out.
Reese is very fuck the gods. So even if he thinks he feels something, he just middle fingers the sky even harder.
You leave the tower, and the general is sitting in a chair. And when she sees you getting out, she quickly jumps up and she scurries over. She's like, "You survived."
General, hi.
She looks over the group of you. I see you're missing one and have a downed one. Were you in the tower?
Reese, dragging behind by one of its back legs, is dragging the metal dog.
You survived. You're the first ones to leave the tower. But where is the Ulfer, and who are you? Pointing to Riku.
As much as I regret to state this, he is perfectly fine. It is not related to the tower. My friend made a deal, and he is the temporary substitute. The useless little piece of shit.
She glances over at him and goes, well, that's good to know that it's not something to worry about for the tower. What did you find? What did you see?
We found a hallway of different statues of those, the masked individuals. We found one room that possibly had a portal to another plane, and we found another that led to a astral maze of islands and doors. I would say that this portal room, it was the first room on the left, that could be of interest. We weren't sure where it could have led, but other than that, we fought this thing. Holds it up as much as he can. Yeah. And all around, a fun time, yeah. Real fun time.
So Haven is pacing back and forth, and as each time she passes you, she's like, "Oh, tell him about the floors, and tell him about the walls."
Yep, and goes on about the floors and how evenly all the tiles were, and how annoying it was, and the walls, and how the rooms tried to trap us in, the way that the ceiling was absolutely nauseous to look at, how it was terrible, all around terrible.
This is incredible. This is more information than we've received in months. That makes a lot of sense now why we can't find them if we try to search, but we've lonked in to try to see if we could find them quickly and then had to leave.
It does maybe appear as well that the walls and openings may shift, as we found, at least in one spot, footprints going right into the wall.
It's funny how orderly they are, yet still it's chaotic in some forms of way. But perhaps it's our gods trying to protect us in some way too. You all need to rest. Please go back to town. I'll have the soldiers give you a ride. And she snaps her fingers.
Before we go, you may find this useful, and I'll hand over a copy of the map that I've started making.
Okay.
So that Reese doesn't have to hand over his.
And I also want to point out that, and I don't know if we could see it from the entrance, I threw some acid or did some, damage to one of the tiles inside. If you end up sticking your head in or sending somebody else in, and that has changed, then I would be really careful.
We also decorated some of the statues.
True chaos does reign. And she sent you all back to town with the soldiers.
On the ride back to town with the soldiers, I'd like to take a good look over Reese's map and kind of study it and kind of pull out a bit of parchment and one of the cartographer's tools and actually start copying my own version of it, just so that way we have maps. Especially after Haven just gave theirs over.
Copy of.
I know. Roll intelligence plus proficiency if you have cartography tools.
10.
It's okay. You think you can make it better once you see the actual rooms themselves, but you get the gist of it down.
Yeah, I marked a few places. I don't remember which symbol's the one for a door, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
You eventually arrive back at town and the soldiers drop you off. It is evening, or when evening should be. The green moon is starting to rise into the sky. You see that there is the Thirsty Fool is bustling as normal, and you also have your homes that you could go to.
We talk as a group for a second on what we want to do, because I think that we have a few immediate things. Do we think that we did enough to get paid from the Fang?
I think surviving qualifies as certainly getting paid something, potentially. Especially if we hand over at least one map.
Okay, and I think we could definitely make some good money off of... shit. I think Ash had the weapons. But yeah, we still have the jewelry, that book.
The weapons, though, were breakable, so I don't think they were worth much. And then Angeli will pull out the pouch with the jewelry. I haven't had a chance to look through these yet. They could very well all be paste, but we do need to get it checked.
And I know that guy also gave us some ingredients? I don't know the better word for it, but just stuff to make healing potions. So if we can find somebody, and we might have to pay them to do so, but if we can find somebody to make those for us, even if it takes a while, that might be helpful too. I'm not that hurt, thankfully, but how do you guys feel? What do you want to do? You want to rest? Do you want to drink?
I'd like to rest and then do this stuff tomorrow.
I'm completely fine with resting. If you want to go and do some more shopping or selling or appraising, I'll accompany you there as well, Reese, but...
Do we check in first or tomorrow?
Yeah, I have no problem waiting until tomorrow. Guess we'll check into whatever rooms we have.
How many of you are staying at the Thirsty Fool?
Probably would be.
I would be.
Yeah, I probably would be as well.
So you all walk to the Thirsty Fool. The tavern is busy, but not quite as packed as it was last time you were here. There are a few tables that are open, and you find a table easily enough and take it, and a waitstaff comes by to take your order.
While we are sitting at this table, I'm going to cast Peaceful Garden around the table that we're sitting at. And it's just going to kind of little bits and bobs of chaos appear around us, like small little trinkets and things, like a disheveled tower, and a couple of other just like little objects of comfort and things like that to make us back in an environment we're comfortable with rather than in this order-stricken tower that everybody was paranoid about. And basically that brings forth a small Zen garden complete with lotus flowers on a patch of dry land to help your allies rest and replenish. Any creature adjacent to this garden for longer than 30 minutes recovers 1d6 hit points per contemplation and meditation.
Thank you. Thank you, Zaz.
That is so much better.
I start playing with the trinkets. I'm like, I appreciate this. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely take like a round of food and drinks.
And wherever Riku is, I will drag him over, sit him on a chair, and just say, I might be mad as hell at you, but I know it's not your fault. Just sit down and eat. It's on me, all right? And then I'll blank him again and take my own seat.
He just nods. He doesn't actually say anything. So your food is all brought out. If you order food, it's a copper. If you order drinks, it's another 2 copper. They're not the greatest, but it's something, and it'll feed you.
I just spend like a silver and get fucking wasted.
So that's 4 drinks.
I'll spend 3 silver.
That's much more.
I'm fucking wasted. That's all I know.
If you have some extra, Reese will have some with you.
I likely will not notice by my 6th pint if you happen to take 1 or 3. I'm like, the whole table is just filled with tankards ready to be chugged, and I'm just knocking them back.
There's going to be con saves in your future. Everybody other than Haven, roll perception checks.
I rolled a 11 on perception.
Perception with a +3, that's a 19.
Yeah, Angeli got 11 as well.
All right, Riku also doesn't notice. Okay, Zaz, you notice familiar face at the bar. Zahiri, the leather worker.
Gonna kind of like wave over in front of Haven, try and get their attention. There's your cute friend, the leather worker over there.
I choke for a moment on the pint that I'm chugging back, and sort of, you know, when you have something that's really frothy and you accidentally choke on it, it just straight into your face.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Sorry, what?
The girl, Zahiri. She's over there by the bar, and you have all these drinks in front of you.
This is a very good point. I did strike out, unfortunately, last time because my pants accidentally fell down.
No, not at all. Totally planned.
Can Angeli, when Haven gets up, do sleight of hand and keep the belt?
Sure. Roll sleight of hand. Haven. Roll perception at disadvantage.
I'm not drunk yet!
Roll a con save. We'll see if you're drunk.
Okay, but I get advantage on the con save, or is it a +4?
I think it's an advantage.
What am I con save? +2, so 13.
You're tipsy.
Okay.
You can roll with regular for your perception.
Okay. Thank you.
Angeli, what did you get?
17.
Haven?
9.
Cool. You grab the belt. Haven is completely unaware.
I'll just lay it on the table after they leave.
I'm going to grab 4 pints and mosey on up to the bar.
Okay. You reach the bar. Your pants feel like they're slipping a little bit. You're not sure why. And you place them on the counter next to her. And she looks at you, and she looks like her eyes are red and that she's drinking, but keeps rubbing her wrist.
You look like you could use these more than I could. Would you like 2 of them?
Oh, hi. Haven, right? Yeah. Thanks. That's great.
You doing okay? I'm quite happy for lending an ear, no strings attached.
No, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
Maybe a second head can help.
I lost something that's very important, and I need to find it. I've been looking for the last 14 hours.
That's a while. Okay. I can't speak for the others, but I'm happy to help you look.
She chugs the rest of the drink that she has in front of her, and she's like, "You shouldn't have to help me. It's fine. I'll try again tomorrow. I'll find it. It's fine."
Give me 3 seconds. Just stay here for 3 seconds, okay? Just 3 seconds. I'm gonna run back to the table, say, "Peeps, there is a damsel in distress. I may get laid at the end of it. If we can help her, will you help me help her?"
Of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
If that's for Zahir, of course.
I'm gonna kind of flutter my wings a little bit. Like, I did this. Yeah.
I'm going to give Zaz a affectionate pat on the shoulder and say, thanks, man. And I'm going to run back very coolly. Be like, the whole team's behind it. We're going to help you.
Roll a dex save as you're running back.
Okay. 17.
Your pants start to slip, and you grab them just at the nick of time as you pull them back up and stop them from falling again.
I'm going to grab some leather out of my pocket and just like quickly tie something just to stop them killing me and making me fall on my very drunk face.
Angeli just sighs with regret and goes back to her drink.
She goes, "You're willing to look? I mean, I can't offer much, but..."
Can you offer having dinner with me afterwards?
Sure.
My treat, you don't have to pay.
So you're paying me to do work for me?
I'm paying to take you to dinner, which is a reward for doing a task for you.
Sure.
Mage hand to try to undo the leather that he was put up.
Sleight of hand.
Can I add my spellcasting modifier instead?
You know what? Yeah.
Would I see him doing this?
Probably.
I'll use guidance. So you can add a d4 to a ability check of your choice.
I'll take it. That brings it to 16.
Roll a perception check.
So Zahiri has a really low cup top on.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as she is a damsel in distress, I am so distracted by her charms right now that I see nothing.
Yeah, okay, you successfully pulled the leather strap just so it's loose.
Nice.
Gotta have a little bit of fun.
Just like all 3 of us at the table, just watching, like hands on cheeks, like just waiting.
You know Haven doesn't wear underwear, right?
That just makes it more entertaining.
We're aware. We knew the first time.
A gold, it happens when Haven turns around and comes back.
So she agrees to the dinner, and she's like, "Well, do you mind if I come over with you? I'll explain to everybody." So,
Of course.
and she will grab the other drink and start to chug it before she gets up.
I will chug both of mine.
Okay, great. Roll con save.
It's a 10.
Okay, and you are drunk officially.
Oh.
So as you stumble away from the bar, she goes to follow you. Make a dex save at disadvantage as your pants start to slip down again.
One of them is a natural fucking 20, and the other is a 5.
You trip as your pants fall all the way down and you fall flat on your face.
Angeli stands up cheering and whistling and clapping, and so that everybody's attention is directed that way.
So here he has a full view of the entire thing.
I'm going to minor trick just like literal 2-dimensional black sensor bar over it. I just wanted the embarrassment. There's no need to go full on out.
Haven is like, you know what? I'm drunk and I'm fit. I can rock this, and just gets up with the pants around the ankles and carries on walking.
You hear a bartender yell, "Put your pants on!"
They are on! They're just not up!
All the way up, or I cut you off.
I pull my pants up.
Pull out a gold piece and slide it Angelique's way.
Thank you. I'll get up with the belt and have it ready for Haven when they get back.
Thanks, Angelique. Yep. Thanks for that, guys. Thanks.
I can't tell you how much that enlightened the whole mood. Thank you very much, Haven.
More than welcome.
As you guys were all goofing off, Riku had gotten up and grabbed a secondary seat and pulled it to the table.
I'll nod begrudgingly at him.
And he is holding it out for Zahiri to sit into.
Once I'm fully clothed again, I will politely bow and gesture towards the seat that she may join us. Then sit down myself.
All right. So as everybody sits down, she is still looking at her wrist and she goes, "Okay, thank you for... Haven said that you would all help, so thank you. I had a bracelet. It's been in our family for generations. Years ago, before my mother went off to battle in the war, she gifted me the bracelet. Each time she went off, it was a tradition. She would go off, she'd give me the bracelet, say, Zahiri promised me to keep this bracelet safe, and you can give it back to me when I return. This went on for 10 years, 11 years. Then one day she didn't return. So I had the bracelet, and that's all I have left of her for 5 years now. So when I was walking in town the other day, I got back to the Burnished Beauty, and it was gone. And I always make sure it's not, like, I don't know if I messed up and I didn't check the leather, or if it was taken or what, but it was gone. I looked all over town, and I can't find it.
Are you able to tell us where you went, everywhere that you traversed that day, so that we can retrace your footsteps and see what we can find out?
Yeah, I can. I tried looking everywhere, but I can definitely do that. It's like, it has 22 beads on it, and it's jade and obsidian, and in the center there's a jade symbol that is the symbol of my mother's god. It's worth a pretty penny, so I wouldn't be shocked if someone tried to steal it.
What can you draw the symbol for us at all, please?
She says yes. Can I borrow a pen and paper?
Sure. What god is it?
It's the god of Gond. He's not normally worshipped over here, but he's the god of crafts. And she was a leather worker, so she loved that particular god. And even though he's more of a smith god, she thought it was chaotic and hilarious that she worshipped a god of blacksmiths and did leatherworking.
All right, so you said it was valuable. If we retrace the steps and we don't find anything, it might do a good bit to go to the markets and see if there's anybody trying to turn it for profit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It would have to be in the morning because obviously everywhere's shut now, but we can do that.
I know what we're doing first thing in the morning then.
I will, I'll meet you back here.
I usually have a roommate, which is conspicuously absent today. If you would prefer to remain with us.
No, I think it's best I go home.
Understood.
Maybe after our dinner. And then she leaves.
Dinner?
Mm-hmm.
Well done.
Whole table. Ooh. Reese is a little buzzed.
I may have gotten a dinner agreement should we all manage to find this bracelet for her, and while we're not getting paid, I will compensate all of you equally if I can, like, I don't know, a silver or something each, even if you did embarrass me.
You don't need to do that. We need to go around and look for stuff and attempt to get a read on the jewelry anyways, and maybe those same people that we sell the jewelry to will know about the bracelet if anyone tried to sell it.
Good thinking, thank you.
But we're going around anyways.
Zaz, friend, there is a particularly buff bugbear at the end of the bar.
Ooh.
Down at the right. I could be
Ah.
wrong, but I think he was eyeing you up for a little bit. And I
Just
have
see a smirk come across his face.
12 extra pints here. Would you like to take a couple? Because I'm a little bit inebriated.
There's only 8 left.
Looks like 12 to you, love. I'll take a few of these, kind of take 2 in each hand, and not the strongest as kind of like hoisting up these pints. Well, I might see you all later. I might not.
Enjoy.
But I'm going to wander over down the end of the bar.
Question, does Zaz wear a belt?
Yes, he does wear a belt.
He contemplates briefly for a moment, starts reaching out, and then decides better of it.
You realize that his pants are so tight that they wouldn't fall if you took the belt off. Haven's pants were very loose and flowy. You go up to the bugbear, who doesn't seem to notice you as you walk up. He is reading a book and drinking, but every once in a while, after like a minute of you standing there, he looks up to go look at, like he's eyeing at the table. He's like, "Oh, fuck. Hi. Where did you come from?"
From the other side of the room, the table over there with all the extra beer. You look like you'd use an extra drink or two. And I kind of hold out 2 pints in one hand.
He takes them and he's like, "Thanks.
What are you reading there, friend?"
Oh, this is a fabulous book about tactical war advances in the past."
Interesting. I'm going to slide into the bar seat beside and appear extremely interested in tactical war things of the past.
Are you actually interested?
Really?
Deception and persuasion.
Yeah, I'm going to feign interest, so I'm a decept. Rolling the dice. That is not good. That is a 6 aftermath.
Well, I rolled an 18 on the die. He's like, "It's okay if you're not interested in it. Most people aren't. But I guess you saw that I was looking at you, so this works out."
Do you have a room in this establishment?
Oh, you moved fast.
I like to get to the point. It's just, and kind of like
Roll
opens up towards my chest area.
a persuasion with advantage.
I was in a bit of a bind today, and you don't really know how many days you have left. Said a persuasion.
Yep, with advantage, because you played the wounded card.
So first roll is a 14, second roll is an 11, and that is persuasion, so that's +3, plus proficiency is 2, so that's a 19.
He is very much paying attention as you lift up your shirt to show the wound. And he agrees, and you guys go up to the room and do your thing, whatever that thing it may be.
We'll fade to black. I kind of look back over the table right before we head up and just give like a kind of wink, thumbs up motion, farewell type thing, as I will not be seeing the rest of you all tonight.
So anybody who's spending the night here, it is 3 copper.
Okay. Any leftover drinks, Reese is going to have them.
So roll con save to see how drunk you are.
It's a 13, and if that fails, I'd like to use a hobgoblin ability called Saving Face that lets me add to it.
It does fail.
It's my bonus is equal to however many allies I can see within 30 feet, max +5. So that brings it to a 17?
That will succeed.
Haven got a 2.
Haven, you are trashed. You are absolutely wasted.
Cool. Did you say 3 copper for the room?
Anjali is not a heavy drinker. She is just nursing the one that she has. As this is all starting to happen, she just takes out a lock and starts playing with it at the table. She's very aware of her own surroundings, but she's not that interested in what's happening in the bar. If any of her companions are hanging around or too drunk to amble along on their own, she'll help them eventually to their room as well.
Haven is trying to walk up the stairs by going into a wall. They are certain that the stairs are in front of them, but they're just bang backwards into the wall again and again.
I imagine your wings are out and you're just like, can't get through like a dog with a stick in the door.
Anjali will move up and gently fold the wings back so they're not whacking all the patrons as she's trying to do this, and help Haven up the stairs to their room.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ash is normally here. I'm so worried about them. And they would normally make sure my wings didn't do things like that. I might have hurt someone because they're dipped in metal.
No, I think you're fine.
Yay. Thank you, Anjali.
You're welcome.
You're lovely. Do you want to stay in my room tonight?
No, I better not. Thank you, though. That was a lovely offer.
Okay. I wouldn't try anything.
I'm not sure you could if you wanted to.
I'll go to bed.
What were you saying, Reese?
Anjali, I remember you wanted to talk to, have you talked to Zaz about, I don't even remember what it was. I know you were having an issue with something, and that's why we found him, right? How's that going?
Well, I haven't. Actually, strangely, now that you mention it, I did recover a couple of memories while we were in the tower, but that had to do when we were poking around at things and trying to discover how stuff, like where the people had gone and such. My memories are there, they seem like, but I still can't remember anything major from a while ago.
Yeah, maybe it just needs some more poking around then, some more experience.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Thank you for asking.
Roll me a general wisdom save.
14.
As you're trying to think back on those memories that you recalled in the tower, you see a flash for only like a moment of a forest and some stone buildings that are utterly destroyed, and then it's gone.
You'll keep those to herself, certainly for now, because it's kind of one of the first bits of clues that she has. So
Reese, you go from that to looking at Reese, who just looks very sweaty, is just kind of itching himself nervously, and it definitely looks very tired.
can we get you up to your room as well?
Yeah.
All right. So Anjali will help if Reese needs it. If not, just make sure Reese gets into their room and she'll head off to hers.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem with Reese.
So we get to learn how HP works for the first time, and this is all Kel's fault, so don't blame me at all for this.
No one hit long rest. Not yet.
So, everybody, you are sleeping in the Thirsty Fools. I will say that you're going to get 8 hours of sleep. So, you gain 15% of your health back. So, take your total hit point amount, divide by 100, and then times by 0.15 and round up.
Fortunately, with the Zen Garden, Anjali was healed. So more bruises fade, though.
Back to 4 from the Zen Garden as well.
I was, thanks to Reese.
Both of your wounds would be healed then and will not be affecting you.
This doesn't surprise us, though, right? This is just usual.
The use.
Part of this world.
Reese was not hurt, so just gets his stuff back.
In that case, you can press long rest. It's just that you have to figure out what your HP was to know what to add before hitting long rest.
So everybody is fully healed after?
Yes.
You wake up in the morning, and Haven, you have a bit of a hangover. Reese, you also have a bit of a hangover. They don't affect you negatively in any way. It's just there, so
Can we get a nice greasy breakfast?
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, when we get up and downstairs, I'd like to get a nice big greasy breakfast to like clear the hangover cobwebs.
All right, you order that, and it's 2 copper.
What's for something that's not a big, huge, greasy breakfast?
For a copper, you can get some bread, butter, and like eggs.
That sounds good.
I'll do the 1 copper meal.
Breakfast, Anjali will ask people once it looks like their cobwebs have cleared somewhat. I might know a few people to talk to about selling the jewelry we found, but I'm not necessarily the best negotiator for that, I don't think. Do any of you know anything about gems and jewelry?
Not about those things, but I know about sweet-talking people.
Yeah, that's pretty evident. She does blush just slightly.
Yeah, I think we have some sweet talkers in our midst, so I think we'll be okay.
Depending on how Zaz is looking, I might defer the sweet-talking to him instead.
While we're at breakfast too, can we lay out the jewelry and just take a look at it ourselves and get a better idea of what we're dealing with before everyone's surprised when we unveil it at somebody else's place?
Well, I'm looking very happy and well taken care of, as I'm enjoying your breakfast. Yes, I could certainly negotiate on our behalf if you're still feeling a little under the table, Haven.
I wish I was under the table, and certainly with that rather lovely leather worker, but, beggars and choosers. However, my head is pounding, if that's what you're referring to.
The second one, but the
Perfect.
first one's just a matter of time.
I'll get there.
Indeed you will.
If you wouldn't mind doing the sweet talking for today, I would greatly appreciate that. And then I just kind of tie a thick piece of cloth over my eyes so that as little light as possible is entering my eyeballs.
Does that works?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Riku comes down as well, and if you want to, make a perception check.
Anjali just sees him coming down and oh shit, I forgot about him.
Natural 20.
Well, I was going to say 21 dirty, but go for it.
3 of you notice that the monkey appearance looks different. There's a little bit of red tinge on certain parts of his body. There is also another place, there is some, like his nose seems a little bit sharper. Some of the features are just shifting slightly, or you're just still hungover. But you're pretty sure, like, he doesn't look the same as last night. Reese, you got a natural 20, right?
Yeah, Riku, you alright?
Reese, with that natural 20, you notice that the nose looks identical to Zaz's.
I think I'll still keep with that question. You all right?
Yes. Why?
What is the shade of Zaz's skin?
Pale blue-gray.
Okay. And you said it was like tinges of like red, right?
He has there's like a red splotch that's peeking out under the collar,
Mm-hmm.
but the rest of him is still the bluish gray that he was.
Okay.
But Haven is red. Is it the same red?
I was just asking because you look a little different this morning.
Do I?
Yeah. And your nose a little like, is that like, because I got some psoriasis. Is that psoriasis on the collar there? What do you?
I don't know what this term is.
All right. Yeah. Reese has a big patch on his forehead, dry skin, and like a few patches all over. All right. I won't push.
Now that that's being pointed out, can Angeli see?
You can try roll a perception with Vantage.
23.
Okay. Yes, you can see the changes as they're like pointed out, and you know exactly where to look. You can see the red splotch that matches Haven's skin color and the nose that looks identical to Zaz.
She just marks it.
He sighs and goes, "The species that I am tend to transform closer to the type of people that they are around. Unfortunately, I am not around my god, therefore I can no longer look exactly like him. It is not something I can control all the time."
Not to be like rude, I guess, but what would you call your race? I guess.
Do you promise not to freak out?
Yeah. Just don't say it too loud.
My race is a protector mimic. I am not a mimic like the ones that many are afraid of in that sense, but I am a mimic in the sense that I can transform myself technically into almost anything.
You want a sausage?
Do I want a sausage?
Yeah, I got a spare sausage. Look, there's some bacon too. And if you sit down and don't call shit, you can have a hash brown.
You will sit down.
Okay, I'll share my plate of food.
You see, I don't know, they have insight higher than passive insight of 15.
No, not higher than.
15.
Nope.
You'll see a smirk on his face for the first time since he got here, but you don't really know what it means. As you're eating breakfast, Zahiri walks into the door and comes over to your table after glancing around for a moment. She's like, "Oh good, I caught you. I hope you're all feeling well. Some of you were very into your drinks last night."
Much better, thank you.
Great. So if you would like, I can show you where I've looked, or show you the map of... I wrote it down, and she shows like a basic map of the town and traces where she walked from. She's like, "I'll keep looking. Maybe I dropped it in the store, but I don't know."
I think from this point on, Reese is going to keep an eye out on people and see if he just sees anybody wearing it.
I'll have you make perception checks occasionally then.
She sketched out a picture of it, right?
She explained what it looked like, and then sketched out a picture of the symbol that was in jade in the center, which was the symbol of Gond, which looks like a cogwheel with 4 spokes.
Okay.
So as you are all fully rested, she gives you the map and she's like, "Thank you, I'll be at the store if you need anything searching there," and then she will leave.
Just before you leave, Zahir, were any of these places shops that you stopped at?
I stopped at the market for groceries, so I was passing by a couple shops.
All right, because it might help focus people's memory if we can say, give your description that you were by here and that maybe you dropped something.
There's a vegetable stand that I stopped at that's owned by 2 hobgoblins.
Excellent, thank you. Have a great day.
I'll see you later on, regardless of whether or not we found it. I'll come and let you know.
I appreciate that, thank you.
And we'll double check that Haven has a well-fitting belt before they show up to your date.
It might not be needed, but thank you.
Haven turns a slight shade of purple and just smiles.
Angeli just kind of nudges Haven a little bit on that might not be needed comment.
Are you going to go look at the stores now?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Should we all go together, or should we come from different ends and try and meet in the middle?
I don't know. Might be better just to have all the eyes and everything at the same time.
Yeah, I think more eyes are better. And maybe let's say it was a pickpocket who took it. And if you have to fight them for it, I think numbers will be better too.
Oh, Haven, what are you going to do with that book?
While we're going around town, I believe there are a few bibliophiles that live here, a couple owned stores, I think, so I should be able to have a look in 1 or 2 of those and see what they think of it.
Might I have a look?
Certainly, and I'll hand it over.
I'll see if I can read whatever language it's in. What would I roll? Because that's one of the things for amnesia that I could possibly pick up 2 other languages.
Intelligence.
Alrighty. 15. So no luck.
Nope.
Because I think otherwise I speak Common, Infernal, and Thieves' Cant, and I don't think it's any of those. Alright. Nice book. Hopefully you find more about it.
No pictures, no nothing.
Well, there was the picture on the page 69 of the, 2 in the multiple positions, but
You're funny. I do not think anyone of the Order would have something so us-like as that. I take the book back and slide it into my bag.
All right, so you guys are heading out now?
Yeah.
So you follow the map to the market.
can anybody draw?
Yeah, Reese draws in his spell book.
Could you have drawn us samples of what she described so we could show it around?
Yeah, I took some definite notes. 22 beads, jade and obsidian, jade symbol in the center of the Gon's symbol.
I'm just thinking that might be easier to show that around and ask if anybody's seen it.
While we are kind of looking around for this bracelet, you said?
Mhm.
And we are in this marketplace, obviously. I'd be looking around for someone who's kind of peddling golds and silvers and things like that to try and sell this jewelry off to.
Right, make an investigation.
That is a 12.
With a 12, it takes you about 20 minutes, but you do find a small store that is called Ringlets.
All right.
Angeli would like to accompany Zaz.
That's fine. You have the items anyway.
I would like to find a bookstore of some description.
Make an investigation.
And as we were in that 20 minutes looking for it, we'll ask around about if anybody's seen the bracelet or somebody wearing a bracelet.
A perception from Reese, since you were looking. Are you going with Haven or are you going with the others?
I'll probably end up going with Haven.
Okay.
But I'll still keep an eye out.
So one person can roll perception from Angeli and Zaz's group.
It should be Angeli, just because I was like stone cold looking for somewhere to sell this jewelry.
Fair, okay.
My main goal was finding a place to sell jewelry for my niece. So I kind of already rolled for that, basically.
I rolled a 5.
I got a 9 on investigation, but purely for bookstore, nothing else.
And I got a 5 for looking at people.
Angeli got a 13 for perception.
Reese, you see nothing. You're like, there's so many colors and different sizes of people. Like, by the time you notice where their wrist would be, they're already gone. It's too much to handle right now, especially with your head hurting just a little bit. So, like, it's just a little too bright.
Mhm.
And you, Angeli, with the 13 are looking. Were you persuading or looking? I forget.
I was looking.
Looking. You see people with nice jewelry, but you don't see anybody with that particular bracelet.
Okay.
Haven, it takes you a good 40 minutes to find the bookstore.
Okay.
So at the other store, at Ringlets, inside is a succubus standing in the back of the room. She has dark purple, almost black skin and bright purple eyes. And she is kind of sitting on a swing in the back corner of the room, just watching and like working on something in her hands. It's a little gold ring.
As I enter, hello there. Kind of wave in her direction by the swing. I was wondering, do you happen to purchase trinkets and things like that?
Well, it depends on the trinket, of course. She jumps and flies down to the ground. She's like, would you like to show them to me?
I'm gonna, lean toward and wave my hand toward Angeli, who's got the stuff.
Move to the counter or spot that stuff may be spread out so she can have a better look.
So you're placing the jewelry down that you found from the
Tower.
Angeli's placing it down. I'm going to. You see these lovely pieces of. And I'll start to blandly describe whatever pieces of jewelry I see, because I don't know exactly what was in there, whether it was rings or necklaces. But as the pieces kind of get laid out, I'll fluff them up a little bit.
As she glances over them, she looks at them kind of almost in a look of disgust, and she's like, "Who made these? These are disgusting. I mean, the gems seem real and the gold is right, but this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen."
I thought as much myself. They seem to be just boring and there's no soul to the designs.
Right, there needs to be gems that are this straight and sharp? No gem looks like this in the natural world. I mean, I am more than willing to use it and I can crush it up, I suppose, but I couldn't take this for what it probably would be worth to anybody other than this world.
I would imagine everybody else would react pretty much the same as you.
I'll give you 20 gold for all of it. I can resell the ruby dust and I can melt the gold. That's going to take time and effort.
20 is a fair price. We were looking to get a little bit more. I was really trying to get about 25 or so. I've got a party to plan for my friend later today, and could have used the extra cash to kind of get that ball rolling. But
Roll a deception, because that's not true.
Anjali will be looking around a little bit at some of the other wares.
that is a 15.
It would seem like it would be a lot easier to take some of those items and repurpose them, like this bracelet you have over here. You could obviously make them look much better than they are.
That's what I would plan to do. If I can melt the gold, I can use it for other objects, and the gems are useless. They're not, you can't recut them to make them look natural. A natural gem is a natural gem, but it can be turned into dust. Some magicians will need magical dust. She will agree to your 25 gold.
Kind of smile and nod and hand over the jewel things.
She will slide over 25 gold, and then she will quickly stuff all of that into a sack so she doesn't have to look at it anymore because it looks disgusting.
Oh, by the way, would you have come across a bracelet that had 22 beads and a jade symbol of Gond in it?
She hesitates for a moment, as if to think.
Insight on her answer.
I mean, I've seen that bracelet before. I believe it belongs to someone in town, doesn't it?
Yeah, they seem to have had it go missing on them, and we're looking for it for them.
It's a shame.
Does she seem like she's telling the truth, or kind of looking for a response, like if someone had come in to sell it to her that she would have recognized it as soon as I described it?
Roll an insight.
4.
She is telling the truth from what you can read.
All right, so I suppose if you see anybody trying to sell that, maybe let the owner know?
Sure. Who owned it again? I can't recall.
That would be Zahir from the Burnished Beauty.
Yes. Okay. Of course, I will definitely let her know if somebody tries to come and sell it, though they would hopefully know better, because that's not something that's going to just be easy to find.
It's gonna stand out, yeah. It seems to be fairly unique.
Exactly. So if somebody tries to sell it, they're going to want a lot of money, and I couldn't possibly sell that back, especially if I know it belongs to somebody.
Right, well, thank you very much for helping us out.
We greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
I'm sure our friend will have a much better party because of all of this, and thank you for your generosity again. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
You can call me Jewel.
Very well. Well, thank you, and I guess we'll be on our way. Come, Anjali, let's find our friend.
Nod in her direction and leave with Zaz. What race was she again?
Succubus.
Yep, with dark purple, almost black skin. All right, so on the other side of town, finally, Haven, you find the bookstore that you are looking for.
Hey, Haven, can I ask you something?
Sure thing, Reese. What's up?
How do you... I don't know, how do you talk to somebody that you like so confidently?
In what way do you mean?
I mean, like, how do you... it's just like you seem so just confident and so amazing. I don't know. I wish I could be a bit more like that.
You charm me, friend. You honestly speak such honeyed words to me. I am grateful of the things that you have said, because that gives me so much pleasure that I could be someone that you can come to and ask these questions, that you think I am that good. Thank you. Is there someone that you like? Perhaps I can give you tips.
No one in particular.
Okay. In that case, come, my friend, and I'll like wrap a wing and an arm around you and start walking along. Go, right, so this one over here, this lovely... Is Reese straight, bi, or queer? Bi?
Gay. He's queer.
Gay. Go, right, so this lovely, lovely goblin over here. Now, what we can tell from this is he definitely loves working out his legs. Look at the calves on that. Because he does that, he either has a very manual job, he does a lot of squats, there's got to be some weights going on. His arms aren't quite as muscular, so he's got a lot of leg work going. Maybe he moves stuff around and he has to carry and walk with some heavy things. Maybe he's a runner, so he's constantly ferrying messages. But that's a good way to get in. You can go, oh wow, you're awfully fit there. Do you work out a lot? As an example, now this one down here on the left, see, there's a really, really attractive incubi over there. See the ones with the really nice leather wings? You can tell he loves his wings. They're all kinds of polished. The leather is impeccable on his wingtips. He's really going for it. The trick is to find something that they're presenting and compliment on it. And then you ask them questions about themselves or something that's in the vicinity, and they will happily tell you all about it. They will start to wax lyrically about this thing that they love.
Okay. I think this whole time Reese has just been like very blush in the face and had his like sketchbook out, his spell book out as if like to take notes, but has been like too nervous to even write anything. And he's like, okay.
So, for example, in our team, were you to look at Zaz, his feathers are always very well kept. He loves his wings. But conversely, he also loves his arse. I mean, have you seen how pert? You could bounce a quarter off of that.
Mm-hmm. Even redder face, yeah.
So, we know that he doesn't do squats, but he does do a lot of working out. He's very fit. It's his passion that we take down the enemy, at least as far as I'm aware. So he keeps himself in fighting shape for this goal. And if you were to say, for example, wanting to flirt with him, or at least practice, I'm not saying that you're attracted, I'm throwing suggestions. If you wanted to practice on him, you could say, ask him for tips on fighting moves, or if there's any particular way that he likes to take down the enemy, what is his favourite thing to do? Yes, and were there to be anyone else, say for example, the male bugbear that almost attacked us the other day, he was a fine specimen. He had very, very large guns, but he does have a pot belly, so that means he either likes his food or he likes his alcohol. Either way, you know he's quite well off because he can afford to get those things.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a little extra comfort on you, you're a rich person around here, so bear that in mind. Does he like his alcohol? We don't know because we didn't see him go back to the fight ring. Does he like his food? Does he just like doing other stuff that isn't so physically energetic as his female companion at the time that Ash went on a date with? There is a lot. Just see something about them. Are they carrying a book? Do they have a nice club covered in the visceral entrails of their enemies? Good subject starter.
Okay, I think I've been very, very in my head, and I think taking, just looking at people and taking that in, that, you know, thank you, Haven.
It's not a problem. If you ever want sneaky tips on the slide, like in an emergency, just like, all right, give me a signal or something, we can go to the bar together. You can just say, right, I need tips on this person, and I will point things out, happy to say, oh, you know, you could talk about this, or you could talk about that.
Okay.
I'll always help you, mate. Yeah.
If you ever hear me whistle, that is, it is an emergency. I need help.
Okay. When you whistle, is it because I'm coming in to be a wing person and say, hey, so this is my friend Reese. Have you seen the size of his pouches?
Yeah, he does. He's so flustered. Like, get me out. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Is it a get you in there or a get you out of there is what I meant, sorry.
I don't know.
Okay, then we can figure it out at the time. Whistling is the key. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Awkwardly kind of tap the pouches. The bookstore.
Dude, revel in your pouches. It's good to have a big pouch. Should we go in the store?
Yeah. Yep. Just tap the pouches and... Yep.
Excellent. We'll go into the store.
You walk into the bookstore called End and Beginnings, and inside, standing on top of a ladder, putting books up on the top. They are not in any order whatsoever, not alphabetically. There's no color design. It is just pure wherever the fuck she wanted to put them. But there is a tabaxi who looks over and goes, "Hey, welcome to End and Beginnings. Do you need something?"
The store is called End and Beginnings.
Yes. She slides down really quickly down this fireman style down this ladder.
That was smoothly done. I'm Haven. May I inquire as to your name and pronouns, please?
Poem and she, they. Thanks for asking.
That is a wonderful name. Thank you for gracing me with it. I happen to have come across a particular tome, and I was wondering if you would A, peruse it, and B, be interested in purchasing it.
I mean, I can look, sure.
Wonderful, thank you. And I'll pull the book out.
Okay. She picks it up and she starts looking at it and she studies it from all the angles and she rolled really well. She's like, oh, interesting. This is actually an Elvish. There aren't many Elvish books around here. It's like older Elvish though. Maybe like, no, this is more than 2 centuries old. That's weird. And she like opens it and she's like, the pages are so neat though. That's gross. They didn't cut them.
Horrifying, isn't it?
She starts looking through it, just trying to get a glimpse of what it is about. And she's like, I mean, we don't have anything else here. I don't know if I could resell it, but it might be a collector's edition of sorts, and it's old, and it could be used to translate old Elvish things. So,
yes, old Elvish. I've heard of this one. Thank you. It's the language of the enemy, is it not?
not necessarily. We do have drows here that speak Elvish, but with
quite.
the way that the book is created, it does seem like it would be. There are way more elves. I heard in where I read that there's so many elves over there, though, but much different types, and they're not drow. It's weird. There's like 40, like, I don't know. There's rumors that there's like over 40 different types of elves.
What?
Right? That's absurd.
I've only ever seen a drow.
There's like 40 of them, supposedly.
Do you know how they differ? Like, are their ears pointier? Are their toes longer? Are they 3 heads?
Yes.
My goodness. Yes, if you would be interested in purchasing or perhaps trading. Reese, do you require paper or anything? Or is there a book here that you would be interested in, potentially?
I mean, more paper is always great. Or even empty books are great. But or if you were looking for, maybe you had a book in a stranger language that maybe you'd be interested in me making a translation of. I studied Celestial and I've studied Sylvan, which are both not as common. So if that's something that could be in handy, that would be great. I could help with that.
You speak Celestial. Hold on one moment. And she dashes off like fast as fuck.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
By the way, she is a orange tabby.
Okay.
So she darts underneath something. You hear some skittering around. You hear, ow, fuck. And then you hear some shifting of books, and she runs back with like a large stack of books and plops them in front of you. Are any of these Celestial?
I will give them a look over. Just quick glances at each one, I guess.
Yeah. You don't need to roll anything because it's a language you would know. So you just glance down, and at least 4 of them are Celestial.
Yeah, it looks like these 4 definitely seem to be Celestial. I mean, whether maybe we do a trade for those 4 for this one, and then maybe I can come back with these 4, and if I even take some paper too, I can make translations of them. If maybe, I don't know, and then some kind of payment.
That sounds wonderful. Yes. I want to know it. I want to read every book I own. I'm pretty sure I have read 78% of this entire store, but these books I don't know how to read. I don't know those languages, so I need to read them to finish the goal of 100%, or I can't do it, right?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I mean, I would just need the paper and things, but if you have the supplies, I could do it for you. Just might take me some time.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yes. Okay, one moment again, and she darts off again. And then she comes back carrying like a very awkward bundle of papers that's like, some of the papers are falling all over the place, very disheveled, and she plops it on the table next to the books. And she's like, how about trade you these 4 books for that book, and I can translate that book for my own. Well, I don't need to translate it, but in case somebody else wants to read it, and then you get these 4 books, and I will give you a gold for each book that you can translate.
Poem, that sounds great. And my name, I don't think I'm Reese, by the way.
Oh, Reese, pleasure to meet you. It's wonderful. This is so exciting. I'm going to be able to read those books.
I think seeing how excited she gets, it's exciting now for Reese. It's like I'm now. Look at me. Now you got me excited. Let's do this.
Poem, by any chance, do you have any in Abyssal or Infernal that you would struggle with?
Well, I know Abyssal, and I kind of know Infernal. There's a lot more devils here and demons than there are angels for some weird reason, but we have like dozens of those books, so I'm kind of learning Infernal. So there's some that are really hard. She shifts quickly again. She's like ADHD jumping around. She shifts the ladder all the way down. It's on wheels, and it almost knocks into like 4 different things, but she manages to like lift it up and push it out of the way, and then she rushes up and grabs like 1 or 2 books, shifts it, grabs 1 or 2 books, and then she tries to reach for one that's really far away, and she grabs it but loses her balance and does a flip and lands on the floor, and she's like, got it. So these books are all in Infernal, and I kind of know some of the words, but some of the words are too hard.
I'm quite fluent. I'm more than happy to translate it for you. It's not a problem whatsoever.
It's the same deal, then I can give you a gold for each book you translate.
How about you let me take you to dinner instead?
I would much rather the gold, honestly.
Yeah, fair enough. Well,
No offense, I'm sure you're a lovely person, but I prefer to stay in and read.
I didn't say we had to go out. I'm more than happy to bring dinner here to you.
You can't have food around books.
You can if you're mage handing or holding the book aloft with magic of some description, and then you're eating and reading at the same time.
Or if you eat while you allow them to read to you.
Precisely.
It's a very interesting concept, but I think I read much faster than you would. No offense.
Gold it is.
She very much is just like, no, why would you do that? The books. You're going to get food all over the books. How dare you? So you have 3 books in Infernal that you can translate, and Reese, you have 4 books in Celestial that you can translate. And we'll say that there's enough paper there for 2 of them each.
Okay.
So when she's saying 1 gold per book, if we translate the same 1 book twice, will we get 2 gold for that? Because she wants multiple copies, or is it just like translate that book once, move on to the next one?
Translate each book 1 time.
Okay. And I have 2 and Reese. I have 3 and Reese has 4.
Yes.
Cool. And we can only do 2 each.
That's what you have paper for currently, yes.
Idle curiosity. A friend of ours, a very good friend, has misplaced an item of their possessions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't suppose by any chance you may have seen a leather bracelet with a series of jade and obsidian beads at all.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know what either of those things are.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. It has been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
You guys too.
I know this is probably a shot in the dark, but if you'd happen to know anybody who maybe knows how to magically locate an object or something, or even like anything like that, I know that's a shot in the dark, but
I don't know much magic, but I mean, there are wizards in town. I'm sure maybe one of them could help.
okay.
Sorry, a secondary question. I must apologise for my tardiness. Books. Would you happen to have one on how to teach someone what it's like to be an concubus so that you can give them tips on how to woo someone?
I kind of. One moment. And she rushes to the back again, jumps over the counter, goes into the back room. You hear something fall and then shit, and then scramble, comes back out. And she comes out with 2 books. One is, So You're an Incubus, What Does That Mean? And it's a children's book. And the other one is a little bit more details, but it's like technically the medical of incubus, succubus, and concubine, or concubus. So it's not really like, it's not going to teach you what you want, but it will teach you everything about their technical form.
Okay. I will go with the kids' book, because I have 2 complete idiots to teach.
Can I see the medical one? Or the more scientific one?
She hands it over.
Can on a kind of good faith thing, can I return this back?
Oh, yeah, sure, that's fine.
And I will pay you for the child's one.
That'll be 2 silver.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you so much, Paul. I'll be back again soon.
It's great meeting you. Tell me all about the books when you get back.
Will do.
Such a pleasure. Thank you for your time.
As you are leaving,
I would like to find some kind of eatery.
Okay.
Something like that does like a pastry, like a bacon twist or a bacon roll or some kind of meat pastry pie thing.
you know where one is, so you don't need to roll for an investigation. There is a little shop that serves pies of all sorts.
When we approach, I'll stop before we quite get there and go, Reese.
Mhm.
Reese, my friend. Were you asking the questions earlier because of anyone specific that may or may not be in our party?
No.
Do I believe him?
Insight versus persuasion or deception. You don't have to tell me which one it is.
19.
Oops, that's only an 11. I'm lying.
Okay. I say, right. Even if it's not, that's absolutely fine. But I happen to know that our friend, because we've been around the same circles a little bit of time, if I strike out with someone, I direct him towards them, or if he strikes out with someone, he might direct them to my way. And I happen to know in this particular foodery, they have a selection of pastries, pies, yummy good things that are a little bit greasy and you really have to lick your fingers clean at the end of it. And I happen to know for a fact that Zaz is a huge fan of at least 4 of them.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I personally am going in because I miss Ash, and Ash and I would come here for breakfast or lunch quite a lot. So I'm going to comfort myself with some food from here. And if you would like me to purchase some additional pies that we could, for the whole team, I'll even get Ruku one. And obviously Angelique is a given.
I'll help cover it. I'd be happy to not like anything has necessarily happened to Ash. I mean, we've seen Zaz come back, but I would happily, help you remember that with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we'll go in and get one for everyone.
All right, you walk into Sweet Sensations and order all the food that you want. We'll say in total it's a gold worth.
And who is the owner of Sweet Sensations?
A goblin person named Dunk.
My man.
And you know that they use they them pronouns.
Okay.
I greet them amazingly. I shower them in love and affection, all the usual good stuff. Try and get a bit of a discount, or at least a couple of extra pastries thrown in, so that no one goes hungry or anything. They
are a very stout goblin that likes to taste their own food, and they will definitely put in more because especially since you're buying so much, they will try these new ones. These are the best ones that I just tried. They're experiments. Tell me how what you think about them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Don't forget the waiver on the door as soon as you walk in. I'm not responsible for anything that happens if you eat my food. Great.
Of course. If I die of poisoning, I absolutely won't sue you.
As every restaurant here does. Of course, I'll tip Dunk probably a couple silver.
Oh, if I took a gold out for that, should I put a gold back in and take out how many silver?
If you're splitting it, it'd been 5 silver each.
Sounds good.
Plus whatever tip.
I'll do another 2 silver.
On that note, you all have pastries and some books to translate. Zaz and Angeli, you have sold the jewelry and made some money off of that, and hopefully a friend, but you're not really sure. And Reese, you got some good flirtation tips that may or may not come in use with that pie later.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where we're going to end the episode, I think, today. And next week, we will look into finding that bracelet for Zahiri so that Haven can have their date.
Oh, violence, just call me, I've answered before. I've made many enemies and settled my scores. But came a cry from a man that I'd known, someone